Hey everybody, it's the Commodore from the Clan of the Grey Wolf, and you are watching the weekly Wringer series here on clanofthegraywolf.com. Now, happy Memorial Day weekend to all of you, now that it's come to an end. I hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day, and I hope that you don't mind, for those of you in our international audience, it is Memorial Day weekend here in the United States, and so as a result I decided to take an extra day, with Monday being a holiday today, just to give the last Wringer an extra day, and maybe next week will be shorted one day, but that's okay. I figured you guys wouldn't mind, and there's still plenty of time to be answering. But I figured folks would probably be just checking their computers on Monday later, maybe than they normally do. Maybe not on their computer as much. So I figured I'd give it another day, and I hope you don't mind. It's definitely been a very long, very exciting weekend for me. Lots of stuff going on. So I've definitely had my share of sitting by the pool and kind of enjoying the Memorial Day experience here in the U.S. So I'm gonna I guess finish off my weekend with a bang here with the weekly Wringer, and you all get to be a part of it. So what are we going to do this week? I've got to wrap up last week's question about game settings that I thought was really very productive in terms of you guys really putting out a lot of cool ideas for video game settings that you'd like to be able to visit. I'm going to go through a couple of those that you guys contributed that I thought were just really, really good. I've got a few of them here that are listed that I would think of as necessarily pretty questionable. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts, as I always do, and give you my my selection. And then I'm going to ask you a question that actually really originates with the idea and the concept of the weekly Wringer. It's one of the first questions I came up with, and it was one of the first questions that sat inside the weekly Wringer vault of questions, super secret vault of questions for the weekly Wringer that I have protected. This one was one of the first ones I came up with, and it has to do with relationships. So, with that tantalizing teaser, I'm going to leave you with that to stay tuned for the question for next week. Now, as you recall, the question I asked last week was about video game settings. Specifically, maybe the settings that you guys like a lot. And the question I asked really was, which setting would you like to visit? Maybe be a fly on the wall or do a flyby just to see how that setting comes together and how people are doing what they do, or maybe a moment from a game that you'd like to be a part of or something like that. As some of you definitely noted, the question really kind of turned into maybe, or a way I could have asked it better was, what experience was so immersive and well put together that you yourself just felt drawn to it, and you thought, you know what, I'd really like an opportunity to be into this, somehow, I guess, a part of this universe that I have really been drawn into because of the game. And there were a lot of really good contributions, and I want to highlight a few of them here. There were, again, a lot of comments, so I'm definitely not going to get to everybody, but a lot of really cool ideas that I can definitely relate to. Let's see here. So, let's see. I've got DJB123 with Mist is absolutely a fantastic idea. Mist might be one of those very first games where the setting was so important. The pre-rendered graphics were just so stunning that you really felt like you could just kind of jump right through the game into this world. And how cool would it be? So perfect, so ideal, so clean and kind of untarnished is what I would say about Myst. Could not agree more about that. Myst is absolutely one of the best settings in video game history for my money, and I think it's a fantastic selection. There's also, as we'll get to in a minute, not a whole lot of really crazy, horrible things happening in that place. So I think to just kind of be a fly on the wall, to be able to fly over the world of Myst would be a really cool thing to be able to do. See little places where specific moments happen in the game would just be really neat. And I think So I think that's a great one. Captain Shadow brought up one that that resonated throughout the entirety of the comments, and that was the Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. This is easily one that I could have chosen. I think it's one that most people could have chosen. You know, it beats, I think, saying the kind of generic cop-out. Some of you mentioned that, of just saying Hyrule or whatever the case might be. Because I think that Ocarina of Time does a really unique job of presenting this world. It's not Wind Waker unique. It's just really, really good. And it is that kind of immersive that you just want to try to be there. You'd like to see what it looks like to be standing next to the Deku tree, or, you know, riding along Epona in a long, you know, field with the grass. And I don't know, maybe I'm just being crazy, but I love that idea. It's a beautiful, beautiful world, and it's something I think that could be really valuable and really fun to jump into every once in a while. So I love that. That's a great contribution, and I think many of you also agreed with that idea. You know, it's a pretty easy decision to make, right, guys? I mean, Ocarina of Time is really a tremendous universe to be a part of. Sonic Rose brought it up. A few more people, I think, repeated it, but I think it really bears recognition, and that is Knights. Knights, although I never owned a Saturn, and I never played Knights outside of, say, like a Toys R Us. Knights is an incredibly immersive and very unique universe that I think absolutely deserves some mention. There's just nothing like it. It really is very, very cool. I am so many different kinds of colors and the beauty. I mean, it's a game that's essentially about really enjoying that world and kind of having the free form ability to fly around it and interact. And I just think there are so many great things about Knights in terms of the setting that I completely understand why you guys would like to be a part of it. Before I forget, one of the other things that got mentioned a few times that I didn't write down in terms of my list, but I think absolutely deserves credit, is Okami. Okami is it's very similar to Knights in that there's just nothing like it. It just creates this universe that is so unique to the game that I completely understand why some of you would want to be a part of that as well. I love the kind of spirited away, almost kind of incomplete, flowing world that Okami really presents, and it's spectacular. And I think I'd love to be a part of that as well. Mr. K brought up Final Fantasy VI, specifically the opera portion, which really resonated as a moment from a game. And all of these games have moments, I think, that we could look at, but this moment from this game, I think, is absolutely superb. If for any of you that don't remember, Final Fantasy VI got remade for the PlayStation, and they did some CG cutscenes for it to kind of help us maybe come back in and realize we're playing a 2D game on a 3D system, but try to maybe get us to, I don't know, feel a little bit more immersed in the experience, to see what the artists were really trying to accomplish. And there's some gorgeous images of Celis, without the military uniform, just with this like kind of long flowing white dress, to sing the opera. That moment is really spectacular. And I have to say, for Mr. K, yeah, I don't even know what to say. That is, you win in that one. That is a fantastic moment from one of my favorite games. If not, actually, I can honestly say it is my favorite game of all time. So I completely understand wanting to be a part of it. Astolia mentioned Rapture from BioShock. I easily could have put this under the questionable heading, because Rapture has gone to hell, right? It's this horrible place where, if you're down there for the time that the game is going on, you're obviously going to be ripped to shreds, and it's not going to be a very good experience. However, I think I understand what Estolia really means, and what I would completely agree with, which is you just like to be a part of Rapture. Well, it's kind of up and alive and moving, and before everything kind of takes a turn for the worse. The initial opening credit sequence, the introduction to BioShock, is one of those moments in video gaming that I hold up as truly incredible experiences that I show people that don't understand why I play video games. I will show them that moment, and I've done it time and again, to say, this is what a video game should do in terms of bringing you into an experience. And that moment is when you take the bathysphere down and you're seeing all the different leagues as you drop down below the sea, and then it kind of rides along, and the screen opens up and you see these giant statues built underwater. And I just think that is that's just one of those amazing moments in video gaming history. Now, but it helps to really draw you into that universe, and the universe is so wonderful. And I would love to just be a fly on the wall at Rapture and see how people live their lives, especially in some of the places like some of the arboretums and the nightclubs and some of the amazing things that are down there that are just so incredibly unique to Rapture. Let's see. One that I have to call attention to because it has a special place in my heart is Smoo42. Thank you for correcting me, by the way, on how to pronounce your name. Any of you that I do butcher, please let me know. I will definitely try to make the necessary arrangements to correct that. Smoo42 talked about Beyond Good and Evil. Yes! Beyond Good and Evil is a game that I think is undeniably attractive for those of us that want to get to a place that can be very happy and kind of escapist. To sit on top of a hill in this world of Beyond Good and Evil and just kind of look over creation and just kind of admire the beauty of it all, I just have to say, is tremendous. That would be one of my top 5, absolutely, hands down. That's a universe I would love to be a part of. And I can see it being, especially because the world in that game becomes such a part of the game itself. You're obviously trying to save it in many ways by virtue of accomplishing all the tasks of the game. And so there's so much going on with that I think it really helps to draw people into it. And I couldn't agree more about it. Some of the ones that got mentioned a few times, I'm not necessarily going to attribute to a few folks, is WoW. I get it. The Warcraft universe is really, really cool. If it were me, I'd probably like to drop into the original Warcraft or Warcraft 2, because those experiences are really special to me. And I could see kind of dropping down into that universe and seeing what it looks like, and that just to me makes a lot of sense. So World of Warcraft, I think, is a good one. And one I wanted to really bring focus to that got mentioned, I think, a few times is Guild Wars as well, which, if you're into MMOs, obviously lush and lavish scenery and everything is just par for the course. But Guild Wars does it better, in my opinion, than anything else. I absolutely would love... There is... Any of you that have played the game, if I could be in one place inside all of that entire game, it would be pre-searing Ascalon. Wow. The sun is out, the grass is green, the people are playing, and everything is happy, and it's before everything just goes to shit. And I would love to be a part of that. That is absolutely on my list as well. All right, now I want to talk about some of the questionables that some folks talked about. Shifo kicked us off with Resident Evil. What the hell would you want to be a part of that for even 5 minutes? To be a part of that universe for any amount of time seems like